Welcome back to Casual Conversations. Of course, if you read the title already, you already know our guest for today is 3kliksphilip. I want to thank you for coming on, man. Really appreciate it. So I'm just gonna hop right into this. So how did you get into Counter Strike, man? How did that all happen?
I started by playing Half-Life 2 Deathmatch, and it was too easy. I
Too
looked for a
easy.
bigger challenge, and Counter-Strike was there.
So you've been playing for how long? When did you start then?
Oh, it must have been about 2005, I think. Gets a bit fuzzy, so long ago. But I had a load of friends at school who played it as well, and we went from there. Bit of a school clan.
Yeah, yeah. I recently only started with Go, or I actually started with Source, but I never really started playing it seriously till I got into Go. And then from there, I started making videos and stuff. And over time, they started getting more popular. I remember when I started, I didn't really know what I was doing and I didn't really know what I was talking about. But how did you get into making videos then from just playing to how did that get into making videos?
I guess I've always liked making things. I did some videos before YouTube. I started off not liking YouTube. I used to upload to Google Video, I think it was. But then I realized just how powerful YouTube was and what you could do with it. And I started uploading tutorials because I didn't like the other tutorials. They were all very long-winded.
Yeah, I
I
was
thought
looking
I
at
could
your
do better.
channel. You've been around for a while. You've been uploading for how long has it been now? 8, 9
Oh
years?
yeah, very old. Yeah, 2007 was when I started uploading, but probably 2008 for tutorials, which is what first got me off the ground. What are you best known for?
I created a video. You might have seen it possibly. COD Kid plays CS:GO. That's what originally took my channel off. Originally, I was uploading a lot of Call of Duty stuff for years, and that didn't really go anywhere. And then I started getting into CS:GO slowly, and I was like, let me make some videos on this. Like I said, they weren't really received well at first. A lot of people told me I didn't know what I was talking about. And then as time went on, I started to get a bit better. And then I created a video with my friend who only plays Call of Duty, and I got him to play CS:GO, and he had no clue what he was doing. A lot of people thought it was really funny. Like the first gun he goes to pick is the UMP because it's so good in Call of Duty, and he's running around. He's asking why he can't hit things. He's saying it's impossible. I ended up uploading that on Reddit, and then a lot of people seemed to really like it. His teammates in the game, like counter to what you see a lot now, they were actually really nice to him. He didn't know what he was doing. They were helping him out. They were teaching him how to play, and I think a lot of people like that too. Because normally when you play matchmaking and you play bad, a lot of people are going to start yelling at you. They're going to tell you don't know what you're doing.
I know that feeling.
I'm sure
It's
you
funny you
get it a lot.
mentioned. Um, oh yeah, everybody
Not,
hates me. I'm terrible.
yeah, like I know if you're a personality, especially when you go into a game and people know who you are, they expect you to be some type of god for whatever reason. And then when you don't meet those expectations, it's like, oh, I thought you were going to be way better than this.
And then they kill you and take a picture and put it on Twitter, and they're like, "Look, I killed Philip," and it's like, "Oh, is that how you greet people,
Yeah,
celebrities?"
my best one is whenever I killed or whenever I got killed by this one guy in a game. He's like, "You gonna upload that to YouTube?" Is that one going up? Or whenever we were losing, they would always bring up the fact, and then it goes like one guy on their team knows who you are, and then it leads to them telling everyone else on the team. Then you got the whole team coming at you, and then it just leads to just AIDS. But
It's funny you say that because I've had the same experience. Whenever people recognize me, they say, "Oh, are you streaming?" And I'm like, "Well, if you knew me, then you know I wouldn't. I don't stream." So I guess they sort of vaguely know me.
yeah. So you were uploading like Left 4 Dead 2 stuff back then too, right? You were doing a little bit. You were
One
doing a little
video.
bit of
I like the game. That's one of my favorite Valve games.
So you were doing a little bit more than CS:GO back then. At what point did it get to like where you like right now? It seems like you're strictly doing CS:GO content. Like you found your niche and that's what is working. So at what point did you realize, okay, CS:GO is going to be the game that I'm going to start to focus on? Because it seemed like before, like I went back and looked at a lot of your old videos, and you were just kind of uploading a lot of different stuff, like just playing with friends and like a bunch of different games. But now it seems to be mainly focused on CS:GO. So at what point were you just like, all right, I'm gonna put all my focus on this channel on to go.
It was when that stuff got popular, and I felt like if I uploaded anything else, people wouldn't want to see it. So 3kliksphilip is strictly Counter Strike, but I do have a 2kliksphilip channel. My brother does, and he uploads all sorts of different things. It's sort of like what 3kliksphilip used to be for people who like my content rather than Counter Strike. 3kliksphilip it used to be tutorials, and now it's all just guides, I guess. Still it's stuff that helps people in Counter Strike.
Yeah, do you get any help on the videos, or do you do these all yourself? Because I know a lot of research and time has to go into these.
I do the research, I do the videos, but I do have friends and people who know what they're talking about that I send the video to once it's done, and I say, "Look at this. Any problems?" And they come back with some very helpful things.
Yeah, it's definitely always good to get a outside look. I remember we were interviewing War yesterday, and he was talking about it. You asked him something about the stats on the majors or something along those lines. So it's always good to ask other people to get their thoughts, because sometimes it's hard to critique what you're making yourself. So I definitely understand where you're coming from there.
Oh
But
yeah, you're releasing stuff and it's being watched by hundreds of thousands of people, and it only
yep.
takes one of them to know something you don't. I made a video about this recently about how I make mistakes, and you can prepare, you can get other people's opinions, but people will still find problems. It's just something you've got to live with, especially when people assume you know everything and you don't. You just
Yeah.
try to do the best you can. It's a
Yeah.
learning experience for me as well.
I think a lot of the time people expect you to be a little bit perfect. Like if you're uploading stuff on the internet, there's always going to be criticism, but I feel like people expect everyone to be a little bit too perfect. Like I feel like there's always going to be mistakes. As long as they aren't too big, it shouldn't be too big of a deal. But it seems like people just love to nitpick, and they love to just find flaws in something. And it
A lot
seems
of the
especially in
time,
the Counter-Strike community.
it's quite critical at times, but I feel very privileged to have so many people who like me.
Yeah, definitely.
What was I saying? Um, yeah, when I release a video, sorry, you can, if you've got another question or anything, I'm
Oh,
going
no,
off
no, you
topic
can
a
go.
little bit here. I'm trying to remember what I was going to say now. It was relevant. Yeah, sometimes I choose a topic that I don't know much about and I research it. So I do. I think, well, skins really, like that was a big mystery for a number of years for me. I just didn't take an interest. And now I'm getting in touch with all the skin makers and I'm learning so much about it. And I feel really privileged to be in the situation that I'm in, where I can talk to so many different people from so many different parts of the community. And I just can't appreciate it. I don't have the time to appreciate every single one, but I do see a lot behind the scenes and I learn a lot from the videos. And
Yeah.
a lot of the time I post stuff I'm not sure about. So other people who do know can then teach me in comments sometimes. But I try to do a good job with the video as well, obviously.
Yeah, it's definitely crazy. Like when you look at the numbers, like you'll look at the numbers like on a screen and they're just numbers. But then I
Yeah.
was talking to War about this. Like when you go to events or you go anywhere where like someone might know who you are. Have you ever been recognized in person?
Someone recognized me on the train the
Oh
other week.
wow.
Yeah, I was there with my mouse, sort of working on Destruction Darius too, just clicking like that in the train carriage, annoying everyone. And he was like, "Oh, you 3kliksphilip." But apart from that, not many people recognize me in real life. It's mostly in when I went to Cologne, they recognized me mostly from my voice.
Have you been to any of the other events or just
Not
Cologne so far?
yet, but I'm going to Katowice next month,
Oh, awesome.
hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I've always wanted to get to a CS:GO event. I just haven't gotten the opportunity yet, but they definitely seem like a lot of fun.
Oh, it's nothing like it. Yeah, it's just I can only describe it as university, but bigger, and everyone's nice and interested in the same things as you. It's just you just go
Yeah.
to the local market around the corner, and everyone's got like Virtus Pro t-shirts
I'm
on.
sure that shirt would
It's surreal.
I'm sure that shirt would fit in there. You walk in
Don't
with
know, Paul.
that.
I was thinking of bringing a 3kliksphilip one, not to be full of myself, but just in case people are like, "Is that him? I don't know," and just in case people want to say hi, I guess.
So you're talking about university. Did you actually end up going to university?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I kind of thought so with all the research and stuff. Did you do a lot of that in university too? Were you like known to like? Did you do pretty well? Pretty much like did you do like what you do in the videos where you do a lot of research on something and you're able to put it out there pretty well?
No, I was quite bored of the subject at university, unfortunately. Although we did do quite similar things, and I guess well, I did accounting. It really taught me how to use the 10 key, numpad on the keyboard. I can't work without it. It really helps with my research now. So that's one good thing that came out of accounting.
Yeah, I had a feeling. I saw you see all those graphs and all those videos and everything spread out. It doesn't seem like really anyone else is doing that kind of content where they're going that deep into it, and it definitely
No, I've got a
like
bit of a niche by being more boring than everybody else.
hey, facts are facts. A lot of people like no one. It doesn't seem like anyone's willing to take the time to put all this effort and all this like time into just breaking down everything. And with that said, has Valve ever like contacted you about any of this? Have they ever contacted you about a video, talked to you, thanked you at all?
I feel I could get in touch with them if I wanted to, but it's not really part of my job. I like to analyze what they do. I'm quite happy to. I feel like they know what they're doing, and I'll just keep doing what I do. And if they don't like it, then they can get in touch and go, "Philip, bad Philip, stop finding exploits in Counter Strike." But they
Hey,
don't. They just stay quiet.
when they mess up, hey, you got another video to make too. So if they release something like the
So,
R8
yeah,
again, we got 3kliksphilip here to make
I'll be
another
ready.
video about it and go in depth. So I know your videos, like, how long do they like? They definitely take long to make. I can definitely tell from just being a content creator myself and looking at your videos. But how long would you say like the average video takes to make?
If I went at it 100%, maybe a day, but it does tend to be spread across a couple of days now. There's a lot of back and forth with a lot of them because I do, like sort of an interview almost with people, and I like to make sure that they like the way it's reflected in the video before releasing. So it does go
Yeah.
back and forth quite a lot. It's really annoying, actually. I find a new idea for a video that I think, oh, I can do this really quickly. And I'm like, yeah, I can do it quickly, but I could spend more time on it and do it better. And then it becomes just as long-winded as the rest of them. But like the case videos I'm doing now, that they start off as just quite a quick and easy video to do, but now they're just as hard as everything else. It just happens. Inflation. Do you suffer from that?
Yeah, a little bit here and there. I've been doing commentaries for a while now, and I'm starting to get sick of it. And that's part of the reason I started this podcast was to kind of like switch things up a little bit, try something different. Also, I feel like a lot of people, like no one's really doing this, I don't think, like talking to people from the YouTube community, sitting down, asking them questions, and just, I feel like a lot of people would like to get to know the people they watch for hundreds of hours, probably. Like over the course of years, they're probably watching hundreds of hours of content. So to get to know these people a little bit better would be good. And surprising enough, a lot of people have actually replied, and a lot of people are actually down for the idea of being interviewed and coming on. Like so far, we've gotten War Owl, who's also really big. You is another big name. We got a few more that I don't want to announce yet because I'm not 100% sure if they're coming on, but they expressed interest in it. But yeah, definitely, it's really cool to see a lot of people getting in on this, and hopefully it can turn into something just a bit bigger. But you said like your videos, like I know they take a little bit longer to make, and you do YouTube full time now, right?
Yes.
So when did that happen exactly? Like, what point was there? Because I know 8 years ago when you started, it was never probably an idea in your head that, oh, I can do YouTube full time. Because I don't even think that was really a thing back then. I don't think there were YouTubers making like good money being able to just make videos out of their room. So was there ever a point where you were like, I'm gonna quit whatever I'm doing now and I'm gonna solely focus on this? And what were you doing before that? Like, what were you doing before you ended up doing YouTube full time?
I think I knew that accounting wasn't for me. I got on better with the IT guys in the apartment, and
So you
just
actually
to
ended up getting a job like out of university at like a accounting firm, I'm gonna guess.
I did a couple, yeah. I did bookkeeping as well, and I know that I actually quite enjoyed the bookkeeping. It's quite nice. It's really helped with my own finances now. But I would go to work every day, and it was all right and everything. But I'd look out of the window and think, is this my life? Is this what I wanted from life? And it was this creeping doubt, and the uncertainty of YouTube full time. That's
Yeah.
quite scary. But it got to the point where I was like, well, I'd rather just give it a go, and if I fail, then at least I know that I failed, rather than always wondering if I could have done it. And luckily, I quit, and my
Everything.
parents supported me for a while, just over a year. I gave them a heartfelt speech and was like, Mum, Dad, I really want to do YouTube. Please give me a chance to do it. Let me show you that I can get it off the ground. I'll show you loads of stats and analysis of it if you like. And they're like, no, we don't want that, but just go and do it. So that's how I got it off the ground, and it coincided with Counter Strike taking off as well. So
Yeah, I remember
lucky
when
timing.
yeah, I remember when Go originally came out, it wasn't received well at all. Like a lot of people didn't really like it. I didn't really play much at the time, but I heard that the community was pretty much split on the game because I think it was created, I'm sure you can correct me on this, but it was created by a different company, I believe. Like Valve wasn't initially in on the game, right? They kind of
Yes, is it Hidden Path, or it was Turtle Rock Studios that helped a lot with Source, and I should know this.
it's one of the two. I know
So,
that.
in fact, apart from Half-Life, I think that every series that Valve has become known for, they've not stolen, but they've borrowed from other people, like Portal and Counter Strike. Even Left 4 Dead, I think, was made by Turtle Rock Studios, or no, Evolve Makers. Oh, I don't know. I'll look it up now. I really want to know. So,
Someone's going to be sure to tell us in the comments.
oh, definitely, yeah. They'll be like, "Oh, Philip, I thought you'd know that." Wait. Here we go. Hidden Path. Yeah, it was Hidden Path. They made it, and then
And then at one point, I'm guessing Valve finally just took over and was like, we should probably fix this.
let's have a look. I don't know the arrangement, but yeah, it's Valve now.
So like you finally started making videos. They started taking off. Was Reddit a big part of that? I know your videos
Yes.
get seen on Reddit a lot. So
Massive. I feel
they
like
seem to love you over there, Global Offensive. Like everything, every day you post, it's immediately at the top.
got a lot to thank Reddit for.
You're pretty much Shroud. You're going front page.
Yeah, but worse at the game. But really, like Reddit, without Reddit, I don't think I'd still be doing it. They really did give me a lot of good feedback, and YouTube comment section is terrible. The
Yeah.
people aren't terrible. It's just a terrible layout compared with Reddit. So yeah, Reddit.
You can create some really bad comments on YouTube, and they'll get you'll see a lot of the same spam now too. It's like this comment and yada yada yada, or it'll be like, how many likes can this get, and then it at the top it's a lot of just spam. It seems like now.
I
Like,
don't mind that as much as the other things like, oh, boring subject, Philip. Try harder next time. I'm like,
oh, those people. Oh,
oh,
those are the worst,
oh.
especially when you put a lot of time into something too. Like it's the one video you're so excited to upload it. You're like, oh, I put a lot of time in this. I hope they really like this. And then even if like 99% of the people like it, you read that one comment,
Yeah,
just that one, and you're just like, oh my
it
god.
needs more, doesn't it? It's annoying though because I've tried for years to avoid series because I find that's almost like you're running out of ideas and you just keep repeating the same thing. So I try to keep it fresh with every video so you don't know what's coming out. But then because of that, you attract lots of different types of people, and some people only want you for that one video that you made, and you don't do it again. And they're like, "Oh, Philip, go back to doing this sort of stuff." And so I've realized the importance of series recently. I'm really going to try and get into them again.
Do you ever like run out of ideas, like of trying to come up with something, or that's not really a problem for you?
There's quality of ideas. It's annoying. Like I have ideas for videos. I'm like, right, I better get this out this week. Then that gets pushed onto the next week because something more urgent comes out or something that I think is more pressing. But no, I've always got a couple of weeks of videos planned in advance.
That's definitely good. Do you worry that since you're doing YouTube full time now and you rely pretty much, I'm guessing, on the ad revenue to pretty much live, do you worry that with like YouTube changing? I know a lot of people have been saying that this happened to animators, especially if you can't really upload daily,
Mm.
then you're kind of punished. Do you ever worry about that? Is that ever like a concern, or like do you ever like want to maybe make a video a little bit faster and maybe rush a little bit more? Do you always just take your time and make sure it's like 100% complete before it's out there?
I used to make a lot more videos than I do now, and I decided that it was better. I looked at my stats, and like you've probably noticed as well, it's just a couple of your videos that get the majority of the subscriptions that you've got, the majority of the views. And I thought, well, why don't I just focus on making videos like that? Problem is, you don't know which ones they are until you make it. So, yeah, I've shot myself in the foot with quality in a way. I really need to go back to easier videos to make. Like I said, I've got some ideas, but it's just the idea of all it would take would be one comment saying, "You're a sellout, Philip, running out of ideas," and I'd be like, "Oh, I better go back to how I was before."
uh,
So,
with the whole sellout thing, do you? I know I don't think I've actually seen a video on your channel like this, but do you take sponsorships at all, or do you take any type of advertisements like that?
I do, and I'm trying. Yeah, yeah, I do, but I try to make sure that they're suitable. I've avoided gambling. I don't like the idea of gambling. I know
Okay.
you do gambling, don't you?
A little bit here and there. Okay, so let me explain myself a little bit. I think I said this in the last podcast too, so I'm gonna try to do it in fast forward. But I try to do gambling videos. Like, as you know, I'm sure you know, you can be offered like a good amount of money to do gambling videos, and like some of the numbers that I've talked to with people. Obviously, I'm not as big as like you or like a lot of other people in the community, but they can offer a ton of money, and sometimes like I will take the money and I will make a video on the site. I've tried to cut back on it a lot recently, but I always tell people in the beginning of the video, I'm like, if you gamble, you will probably lose your money. I do not recommend it. This is for entertainment purposes only, because it seems like for whatever reason a lot of people like to watch other people gamble, and some of those videos for me have done well. And I'm just like, I'll give the people what they want, I guess. Some of them want to watch me gamble, but I don't know. It's kind of a gray area for me. I definitely realize that gambling probably isn't the best thing for especially kids. If you're under 18, you probably shouldn't be gambling. That's probably a bad idea. And there's the whole gray area of if it's actually gambling, and I don't know. It's a whole cluster. What do you think about gambling though? Like, I definitely got the game bigger, so
It
that's
did,
the
but
only plus I can think of. But
yeah, I've got lots of bad things to say about gambling. Like I've seen what it can do to people, and just the idea that I'm using my voice to, you know, benefit myself at the expense of my viewers who got me to where I am, I just can't do it. But I do try to take sponsorship deals if I think they're suitable, not gambling,
Yeah.
but a lot of the time it helps me because doing a video, you can do it about whatever, and it sometimes helps for someone to say, right, I want you to do a video on this in this sort of style, and you go, okay, this has actually motivated me to make a video that I probably wouldn't have thought up otherwise.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with sponsorships, and I don't think really people have a problem with sponsorships too much. I think as long as you're just like it isn't clearly selling out, or you're just not blatantly lying to people. But if you can do sponsorships that just like kind of already go coincide with what you're already doing, then normally it's okay, and people don't have a problem with it. Especially like tech reviewers and stuff who will get sent stuff like
Linus Tech Tips.
yeah, stuff like that. Like
War Owl, he doesn't take any, does he?
no, he doesn't take any at all. He
I've
said,
got a lot of respect for him for
yeah.
doing that.
I said the same thing. A lot of people, when people don't take sponsorships or they don't take the gambling sponsorships, I feel like a lot of people in the community do respect that because it seems like now so many people are taking these sponsorships, even some of the biggest CSGO YouTubers. And I know Sparkles, who is the biggest CSGO YouTuber, sponsored by like sites like Drake Moon and stuff like that. Not that like there's anything wrong with him doing that. If he wants to do that, it's perfectly okay. But like a lot of people don't really like that. They feel like they're being sold something, I guess. And I guess I can see why these companies offer so much money because they think that, like, for instance, if someone's watching like a 3kliksphilip video and they've watched you for a while, they feel like they've kind of built up trust with you. They've kind of like in a way. So pretty much like you're probably able to sell something better than just placing an ad on the YouTube video that they can skip in like 5 seconds. And also there's the whole gray area of people rigging things a lot, and that became a whole thing. But
Well, that's not just morally
that is just
ambiguous, that's downright illegal.
yeah, that is. It seems like a lot of the people who were involved too really weren't punished. Like it seems like it went away like every other drama on YouTube, where it's a big deal for about, let's say, a week or two, but then everyone like they remember, but they don't really care anymore, and it just becomes like a not a big deal.
Well, this has been something I've, it's given me many sleepless nights. I sort of have sleepless nights already, but it's the idea that I'm trying to make a career out of YouTube. And my end goal hasn't ever been videos, it's just been to make things. I just like making stuff. And my goal really was to get a job, to save up lots of money, and then to retire early. But now I've realized I can do that even sooner by doing something like this. I have the freedom to make a game if I want. I am make maps, make whatever I like.
Yeah,
And for me, the money, it wouldn't be spent on a sports car. It would just be put into savings, just as security, so I can keep doing what I enjoy doing for years to come. And
yeah,
I do look at these offers and I think, oh, that could sustain me for so long. Even if YouTube went down
yeah.
tomorrow, and what if it does? Will you regret not taking these offers that were available at the time?
Yeah,
They could
it's definitely a
change your
hard
life.
decision to make, especially with some of the numbers that these sites are throwing out. Like I know people who only have like 100, 200,000 subs, and they're getting paid like thousands of dollars a week just to do gambling videos. And then you have the channels that like I know people specifically who don't play CS:GO. They've never really had any interest in the game. They still don't really play the game, and they only make gambling videos and clickbait videos, and they end up getting really, really popular in the community. And these people have become some of the biggest people in the
And they
community.
ruin Counter Strike
Yeah,
as well.
it's
They
it's
ruin the
part of
game's reputation.
yeah, it's part of a problem. Like when you say CS:GO now, a lot of people associate it with gambling, which isn't good and probably not what Valve wants. And a lot of the big sites got shut down, but there's still plenty. And I think it's always going to be a problem because there's so much money to be made there, and a lot of people see that. And I don't think it's going to be so easy to shut down these sites. And a lot of them
If
are
you want
just
to get
case opening
rich,
sites now.
do gambling, yeah, but only advertise it. Don't do it.
Exactly. And a lot of these people, they don't gamble with their own money, so they don't really care. Like the site gives you money to gamble with, and it's like you can just do whatever you want. It's like, "Ah, I lost $1,000, whatever, so what?" And then whoever's watching you might think, okay, it's okay to go out there and just lose like that. But then when they actually lose, then they're quick to turn around and blame you and say you're the reason why, or to get really frustrated when they lose their skins. And it's kind of sad, and it's crazy to think that it got so big so quickly. Like I remember just it was maybe about a year ago when CS:GO Jackpot came out, and then it just escalated, and there became more and more sites, and then more competition, and then now we're at the point we are now with just case opening sites, which, if anything, to me seems like more of a scam because it doesn't really seem like there's a way to prove what they're doing is legit. Also, it's designed to make you lose money. Like,
They're a business, they're not a charity. Those
exactly.
sites, they're not offering, they're not being generous to you. They just want your money.
Yeah.
It's simple, but it's interesting because as a YouTuber, you're not just choosing the content and your personality that you reflect to the world. You've got to come up with your own opinions on these sorts of things. What sort of YouTuber are you going to be? I know Jim Sterling. He's someone who just doesn't have adverts on his videos. I don't believe he doesn't take any promotions. He just has Patreon, and he's completely free to say what he likes, and that's a great business model that he's got. I can
Yeah.
respect him for that
It's definitely
because it's
awesome
so
when your
different.
fans can support you like that
Mm.
and like let you create what you want and don't have to worry about making ends meet at the end of the day. You can kind of just do what you want and be creative. And back to what we were talking about a little bit earlier, I'm a big I'm a big fan of how you can take YouTube and turn it into something else. So like you've established this big fan base that really wants to support you. So if you did want to go out and create a game, you already have people to share that with, and you already have people who will support you, and it definitely makes that process a whole lot easier. And I think you see it more and more now. A lot of YouTubers are kind of jumping on over and getting jobs at things like Twitch or possibly even like Google themselves, but they're moving on and they're doing bigger things, and they always try to, it's like YouTube can kind of be like a springboard to something bigger or better, which is really cool.
As a platform just to showcase everything else you do,
Yeah.
which is what I use it for a lot as well.
So this is actually a question I got from one of my viewers, and they wanted me to ask you this. Do you have any advice out there for someone starting a channel now? Like, what advice would you give to somebody?
Make videos that help other people and try several different types of videos. Look at the analysis, look at the analytics for them, see which ones are most popular, do variations of them, and keep going until you've got a successful channel.
Yep. I feel like the big problem is a lot of people quit way too early. A lot of people will give it a try, and then they'll realize how hard it is. Because I don't think a lot of people understand how much time and effort can go into YouTube videos, and a lot of people think it's just playing video games and talking. But sometimes, like, videos can take a while to do. They can be a bit rough, but especially in your case, like, do you ever have anyone who just like, you ever have people tell you like, that's awesome, it must be so easy to do what you do, while you know that it's not
You
nearly
get the
as
people
easy.
who say that you can't do it in the first place, and they're typically the people who then become the ones who suddenly know what would make you more popular. And they look at your channel and go,
Oh,
"You should
I
do
know exactly what you're
Minecraft.
talking
You should
about.
do Minecraft. It's popular." Or a DayZ. Do DayZ videos. And it's
Yeah,
like,
they just don't get it. I know exactly what you're talking about. I have a lot of people. I remember when I originally started my channel and I told people about it, they were like, haha, that's so funny. All these people are doing gaming. You're not going to get big. And then when I ended up, my channel started to get bigger and bigger. More and more people were like, oh, that's really awesome and stuff. Those same people. And then they were like, oh, you should shout me out in this, or you should shout me out in that, or you should do, how about you do Call of Duty videos? And I'm like, I don't think the people who are watching my videos would like to watch Call of Duty videos. I just, like,
it's a compromise, isn't it? You've got to do something that your audience wants to watch, but that you find tolerable to make.
yeah, definitely. Especially if you're doing it full time too. Like, you can't go 100% into what you want to do if you know it's something like let's say you like chess, for instance, and you wanted to make like a chess video, but a lot of those people who watch for CS:GO might not be interested in a chess video. You live off views, so you kind of, it's always good to have a compromise there. If you do solely what the fans want, sometimes they always don't know what they want to. So, like, they'll say they want something, you'll do it, and then a lot, like, it doesn't turn out nearly as good as maybe they envisioned. But
I couldn't have predicted how my channels would have turned out. I remember my friend told me a couple of years ago, he said, 2kliksphilip has a lot more potential. And I think it does, because it's not just limited to Counter-Strike. But in a way, that makes it more difficult as well, because how can I describe it? Anyway, 3kliksphilip is bigger than 2kliksphilip, and I couldn't have predicted that.
is it hard to, like, do you still upload in 2 clicks, Philip? Right? Like, you
Yes,
still try to? Is it hard to like balance those out, or
yes. A
it?
lot of the time, I look at how many videos I get out a week, and I think if I had it all on one channel, especially 3kliksphilip, I could get a lot more views, a lot more subscribers, and a lot more money. But then I think, I like the freedom. I like having several different channels to release different types of content. It keeps it fresh. So it's a compromise. and I've chosen to do it. I'm going to stick with that decision.
Yeah, I've done that recently. I have another channel. It's called Throwaway, and I haven't really been able to upload much on it recently. I've just been super busy. I'm gonna try to get back into that definitely. But it's all about hip hop and stuff because that's one of my interests, and I'm really into hip hop music. But I figured I was like, the people on my channel aren't gonna really probably be interested in this, so I'll create a whole separate channel for the people who are possibly interested in that and they want to watch that kind of content. It's there for them, and also it's just fun to create stuff that you're interested about. Like
How's it
sometimes
going?
it's going okay. The first video on the channel ended up getting 10,000 views, and the channel has less than 1,000 subscribers, so that was getting shared
Congratulations.
around a bit. And unfortunately, I only have about 4 videos on the channel. A few of them went okay, but I definitely could see it getting a lot bigger if I just continually uploaded on that and try to get regular with that, which I'm gonna try to do soon. But hopefully that will end up working out. But having a few channels is definitely good. It definitely helps you diversify because creating CS:GO videos after a while, I'm sure, can be a little bit boring, and it's always good to try to do something else creative.
It scares me in a way because people would say, once you start doing something you enjoy for a job, then it
You
loses
hate
its
it.
appeal. And I was like, it won't. And I went several years. I think it does lose its appeal eventually. I mean, you like seeing the stats go up. Once that starts to curve off, you then think, do I am I still enjoying it? It's just sort of soul destroying to make what you think is the best video and for it to get half the views of something that
Yeah,
you released a year or so ago that you think is worse.
yeah, I
It's,
know that feeling.
it's a,
Have you stopped playing? Like I noticed this happened with me a lot when I started making CS:GO videos pretty much exclusively for a long time. Um, I was pretty much just getting a little sick of the game, and I stopped playing it nearly as much as I was. When I first got into it, I was playing CSGO so much. But then I felt like I was making CSGO videos, I was playing the game a lot, and I kind of got burnt out. So I kept making videos, but I started to play the game less and less. I'm starting to get back into it again. But since you started making CSGO videos full time, have you stopped playing the game less than you
yes.
used to?
A lot less. I've played it a lot the last couple of days, but before then, maybe I'll load it up for gaming once a week. It's just to keep my knowledge fresh because I think I realized a long time ago that I'm never going to be known as one of the best Counter Strike players. I don't need to be one of the best Counter Strike players to do what I do. I just need to have a decent knowledge of the game, and I'd rather spend the time doing what I do rather than competing just to become the best player in the world. Only one person can get that title, but 3kliksphilip, that's something only I can be.
Yeah, I would much rather be a personality than a pro player because being a pro player seems really stressful. You're putting in all those hours on the game. You could possibly get burnt out. You could get cut at any time. There could always be someone who comes along and be better. But as a personality, like you're pretty much like you're not gonna have that same fear of just one day being cut. Like it's very unlikely that one day
No.
your channel just dies, and but
It
it
seems to
could
take a
happen.
lot. You can
But
steal millions of pounds and people still don't seem to care. So
yeah, yeah,
there's
yeah.
hope. But I don't know. I don't know where I'll be in 5 years' time. I might like to shake things up and do something different then, but I'm gonna stick with YouTube for now. It's the sensible option.
It seems like a lot of people have gotten big because they were playing CS:GO like before it got popular. I know this was the case with Summit. He was getting popular playing a few other games, but his channel really blew up when CS:GO started to blow up. And I remember there was a VOD with him talking about it, and he was saying that he was just playing CS:GO. He was one of the only people playing CS:GO like at the time that was like streaming regularly and stuff. And when CS:GO started to take off, we really saw his channel take off, and now it is where it is today. He's playing multiple games. He's doing a bunch of different stuff. He's still mostly CS:GO, but it seems like a lot of people. I think MoTV might be the same case there of just people who have been around in the community a while who've gotten just big because of just the game getting bigger overall, which is really cool to see.
You ride the wave. It's a lot more difficult for someone to start up now, I guess.
Definitely.
But still, if you can think of something original or something decent or better than other people, then you can still get somewhere, I
Definitely.
believe.
So, how do you suggest like Valve gets makes the game better? Do you have any problems with the game right now that you think need to be addressed, or you think
No,
everything's probably fairly good?
I think I'm less critical than I used to be with this sort of thing. I like what they've done with the game. They are quite slow paced and methodical, but you compare the game to how it was a year ago, no one will notice because it's been
Exactly.
across so many updates. But people are playing it. They say, not many cheaters. Um, the weapons seem quite balanced. Yeah, what more do you want from Counter Strike? It's the most balanced game out there. It's the most
Yeah,
polished and
It's funny. Worrell actually said the same thing. Or yesterday, he was talking about how a lot of people complain about stuff that isn't necessarily like that big of a deal, and the game, in my opinion, has definitely gotten a lot better than what it was. Like a lot of the people who complain a lot or try to say the game is completely garbage or whatever, I feel like they haven't played the game a few years back or even just a year back, because it's definitely come a long way, especially with cheaters, which is one of the main thing a lot of people complain about. And with prime matchmaking, cheating it's still an issue, but it's not nearly as bad as people make it out to be.
I think we like to accuse people of cheating because it makes us feel better about not being so good.
Yeah, I think a lot of it, no one really likes to admit, especially in a competitive game like Counter Strike, that someone can be better than them. It's always, I remember even when I was like silver and I wasn't very good at the game, I did the same thing. I called cheats a lot. And I think now the community has gotten into this state where it's okay to call everything cheats, and it's just become this normalized thing. It's like, oh, he's a cheater. Oh, he cheater this, cheater that, cheater that, and you don't really see it too much in most other games, or at least from what I've seen. But it seems like in Counter Strike, calling cheats is just a regular thing you see. It happens to me quite a lot. Even in my comments, I'll have to explain to people, like, yeah, the demos sometimes smokes can linger a bit longer than they do like normally. I think they fixed that in regular demos, but it's still an issue if you like use highlights. But people still like to
Yeah.
call me a cheater, even though I consider myself to be an average to above average player. I'm not anyone spectacular. I'm not a pro. I don't claim to be a pro, but for whatever reason, people still seem to think I cheat. And it seems like those witch hunts got a little bit out of control too, a little bit back. It seems like they're still happening. I've heard something about Stewie 2K cheating, people are trying to say now, and it's just it's I don't know. It's a little ridiculous.
You get passionate about the game. You put time and effort in. It's not just a game. It's something that you do with all your time. You invest time into it. You're proud of it. And I rage. I'm a really bad rager. It's just that I don't press the talk button a lot. When I do, I don't insult the other team. I normally just get angry at myself or the timing, or I assume Gabe's got something against me or something. But never openly toxic, because I guess as a YouTuber as well, you need to keep your reputation, and I don't think I have a reputation for raging when I should.
I remember back when I originally started, my channel got really popular, or well, not really popular, but it was getting pretty popular at the time, I guess. I was streaming at the time, and I was still fairly new. I was like Silver Elite Master maybe, and I used to get comments all the time, or people in chat telling me, "Oh, you're so salty this, you're so salty that." And at the time, I didn't really realize they were kind of joking, and I kind of overreacted, because I feel like I took the game way too serious back then, and I had this thing of I have to be really good to make videos, I have to be super good, and I always felt like if people saw that I wasn't good, then they would stop watching, or they would think like less of me, I guess, which
Yeah,
isn't
and
really
for
the
me as
case.
well, just I'm global elite, you're legendary eagle, therefore I'm better than you at everything in Counter Strike. And
Yep.
it's not like that. Most mappers aren't really that high ranked. They might be around AK, DMG, and you think, hey, look, these people are designing the levels that
Yeah. To make the
pros
game.
play on. Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like a lot of people will leave comments, and these people aren't especially good at the game, and they'll try to criticize like me or you, who might be
Oh
better than
God.
them at the game, and who like I have
Twitch
personally
chat
two.
is toxic.
I
Yeah.
don't know how many hours you have in the game. I have around like 2,400, I think. I'm sure you have a ton. You've been playing a while, but you ever get annoyed? Like I know personally, I kind of get annoyed, and I probably shouldn't say this because it's probably gonna happen a lot more now that I'm saying it, but people leave comments and they'll try to tell you what you're doing wrong, or they'll tell you stuff, and you know it's incorrect, and you know that they don't really know what they're talking about, but then it gets a bunch of likes and everyone's like, yeah, yeah, he is bad. Or you ever get anything like that?
I don't get people teaming up on me, but it doesn't matter. It just takes one comment, and I think, yeah, people all act with hindsight. I did a shit advice video the other week about how to win your bets on who would win the major. And at the end, I was like, if you really want to lose, then just go with who Thorin says is going to win. And then, of course, he was right about it. And everyone's like, oh, Philip, you were wrong. You were wrong. And obviously, then, they didn't say that until it happened, but then
Yeah.
they all like to act superior. I don't care. It's all a bit of fun. It's not too serious.
Do you have a favorite video that you've made so far? Like I know you have a ton of videos now, but is there anyone that like stands out that you worked really hard on and you were like, I'm really proud of this, even if it didn't do well view wise? Like not like I know some people their favorite video is obviously their most viewed video, but for I mean like favorite to make and something you're just really proud of that you put up.
Going low in CS:GO, friends. It's an episode where I don't say a single word. You don't need to. It's about a CT team on Nuke, the old Nuke as well. So it's got a bit of value now when you
Uh,
watch it because
can
it's how Counter-Strike used to be.
can you refresh my mind real quick? I recognize the name Going Low in CS:GO, and I'm pretty sure I might be wrong. Was this where you were like D ranking a bunch, or you were seeing
Before I
something?
realized how toxic it could be, yeah, I started doing it like quite soon after the game came out. And obviously, with hindsight, when everyone started doing that and smurfing, it does ruin the game. But at the time, it was just a little experiment. I thought, everyone's trying to get better. Why don't I do the opposite? So, how
What rank are you now?
ideas.
If you still
Oh,
even play matchmaking?
oh, I'm legendary eagle,
Oh, okay. So you're pretty good.
but
I
I
don't think
know
rank
that's
really
someone.
rank doesn't really like mean as much as I think people put into it. I think a lot of people who are lower rank put more stocks into rank than the people at the top because
Once
you
you get
can
to the
run in the
top, you
global league.
realize you could go higher again, and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
it's endless.
Do you play
But I'm
like
quite
Face
happy
It
where I am.
or ESEA or anything like that?
No, just matchmaking. Normally solo queue.
Yeah, you're in Europe, right?
I'm brave. Hmm?
You're in Europe, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so Face It is a lot bigger over there. I know it's not too big over here. At ESEA is like the main thing that we use over here, but I heard that ESEA is like bad over there for whatever reason.
I wouldn't know. Although I will say that there is a conspiracy against UK players. It's not just, it's not that everybody in the UK is bad at the game. It's just, I swear there's like some sort of filter. And whenever anyone plays in the UK, the information goes across the channel and it gets distorted in some way. And that's why you miss all your easy shots and stuff. That's why there's no good UK teams. I'm just going to put that out there now. There's a UK conspiracy to stop us from being good at the game.
I
That
rem-
is why you don't see any good teams.
I remember seeing all those comments back in the day. I don't really see them as much anymore, but it was always like EU is better than NA. I guess it's still a thing. NA's slowly getting better in the pro scene, so I guess it's going away a little bit, but I remember seeing those all the time. And people I think people
Believe
actually
it.
believed it. Like it started as a
I
joke,
believed
I'm
it.
guessing. You believed it?
Yeah, there
Come
were no good
on.
American teams for years.
Oh,
I
I'm
can't speak. There's no UK team at all. I was looking down the list of the best teams, and there was no one on the list, not even
I
at the bottom, just no UK.
I mean it like
It's
pro level.
Kazakhstan.
I'm talking matchmaking level. Like people thought just because they were born in Europe that they were just naturally better at Counter Strike than me. They were like, "Oh, Chosen, you're LEM. Oh, that's like EU Global 3." And I'm just like, "Oh my god, come on."
Oh,
Oh,
yeah. I'd like to go to America and just see what everybody's like over there, see if
haven't
it's
been
that
yet.
different. No, I've never been to America. It's
Have
a
to
long
come over.
journey.
Have to come over here. End up probably getting a little bit fat if you stay here too long, but
I've heard about the portion sizes.
yeah, yeah, definitely a problem over here. I have another question from one of my viewers. They wanted to ask you, what is your favorite map? Like
That's
personally,
two.
Dust 2.
And Disparity, of
Oh, what are
course.
you, a silver man? Come on,
Dust
Dust
2.
2.
Yeah,
Yeah,
love it.
it's my favorite too. I'm not
It's
gonna
like
lie.
it's like an old friend. You can always go back and you know what you're getting with Dust 2.
I feel like Dust
Every
2 is really
quality's
balanced.
there. And
Yeah,
you don't ever feel too exposed. Everywhere you go, you can check corners one at a time. Whilst in most maps, it's sort of like, oh, I'm going to be the sacrificial lamb who runs out. I get shot from one of 7 entrances, so my teammates can then get kills. That's
yeah.
how I feel in most maps. But Dust 2.
Whenever I tell people Dust 2 is my favorite, they're always like, "Oh, what are you, silver?" And I'm just like, "No, I just like it. Like it's really good. I feel like it's one of the few maps, especially where T like you can play really good T side. I feel like that's slowly been getting better though. They've been tweaking the maps a lot in the game, and it seems like the maps are getting a lot more balanced than they were before.
Here's the
But
thing, Dust 2 was completely balanced. It was 50-50. And then the latest major, it was the least balanced map.
was it?
What's happened? Yeah, Nuke was the most balanced. It's like,
No.
what's happened to the game?
Are you a fan of New Nuke? I personally, I can't get into it.
It's so
I didn't
pretty
like
though.
original Nuke either though. So
It's so pretty. Everything's so shiny.
it does look very nice though. I like the
I
rework of
don't get
Train.
it.
Train was a good one.
Ooh, I think it's too depressing. It's too Russian. It's too brown and dark. See, I go by just how colourful maps are really. I
uh,
like what they're doing though with the remakes. What about Inferno? Brand
Oh
new.
yeah, I forgot all about that actually. Inferno, the new Inferno is definitely one of my new favorite maps. I like it a lot personally. I like the color scheme on it too. Now that you bring that up, it definitely looks just more vibrant. I'm waiting for them to redo Dust 2. It seems like they're slowly
That's
working their way
supposed to be.
through the maps. But
Yeah,
it'd be weird to take Dust 2 out of active duty. I wonder if they would just leave it in active duty because so many people play it. Like I think it's the I would guess it's the most played map in the game. I don't have stats, but I'm guessing it is.
the day that leaves active duty, oh my god, what would happen to Counter Strike? What would happen to casual? Because they go between Dust 2 and Mirage here in
Well,
Europe. Those are the two maps played in casual. Because I do play a lot of casual. I like it. It's just more
oh.
fun, less
Do you
aggressive.
voice enable zero or do you
I go on and I quickly do that. Yeah.
Okay,
Um,
I was gonna say every time I've been in casual, it's a bunch of people yelling a lot, and I'm sure it's worse for you. You could possibly get Russians. I'm guessing, right? Do you ever run into?
there are Russians. They do get a bad reputation.
They're not. Are
But
they not as bad as they? Are they not as bad as everyone says they are? I've never really
some of them
experienced them,
are. Some of them are like they're all speaking Russian. Like for
and they
yeah, that's
refuse to speak
a
English, right?
worse than that. They tell me not to speak English. I'm like,
I can't speak anything else.
no. Or just say something reasonable. It's like, oh, they're pushing long, and they're like, shut up, please. And I was like,
Um,
what do you want from me?
If I had to say, I think the North American equivalent to that would be the French Canadians, especially on ESEA. I've noticed you
Canadians.
get a lot. Not Canadians are fine, like regular Canadians, but French Canadians are the ones people seem to have a problem with because they have they have this accent, and in my case, if you're French Canadian, I'm sorry if I'm offending you right now, but they're really mean and they're really like condescending from what I've seen. They think they're a lot better than everyone, and then it will
They're
turn in.
British.
Yeah, it will turn into everyone going, "Shut up, Frenchie" or something like that, and then it will be just the four Americans ganging up on the one French guy, and then he gets really mad, and then the whole team just pretty much completely tilts, and it's just awful.
Oh, it just sounds like Counter Strike to me.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. Just at this point, that's just regular Counter Strike, just getting mad and getting super frustrated. But hey, we all come back for one reason or another. I've noticed that.
That's it. Yeah, when I've got a night off, I think, what do I want to play? And I could play through The Witcher and watch 3 hours of cutscenes. I'm like, I'd rather play Counter Strike.
Have you ever
So
quit? Like I've done that a few times where I'm using quotes here, but I quit where I'll be like I'll get so mad I'll uninstall the game and then maybe an hour later I'll install it again and be like okay I gotta get better. Like you just need that period of just cooling down a bit.
I rage quit on casual earlier. There was one person on the other team who would just get me wherever I went every round. It was just annoying because if it wasn't for him, I'd be okay. I just happened to run into this one guy, and I was like, screw this. But no, competitive, I don't. I always think, what have I done? What have I done? Just as I've accepted a match. But once I'm into it, it's okay. The most annoying thing, I keep getting these weird lag things at the moment. Once again, the UK conspiracy going on here.
Trying to
But
stop you from
like,
going pro.
I'll be I'll start going like this, and I can still hear the voice chat. And they're like, "Oh, 3 clicks, 3 clicks. What are you doing? 3 clicks, AFK." I can hear what they're doing, but my person's just going like that in game, and I can't
Oh,
move.
that's the
It's
worst.
it's like,
I had a guy like
stop.
that. I played earlier today, and he was jumping from maybe like 30 ping to like 600, and it was just getting a little bit out of control. Like that was a little bit frustrating to deal with, but
And they have the advantage as well. Whenever I join, this might not help the American image, by the way. When I do join American servers, I do have 100 something ping, and I play a lot better. So I don't know if people are just easier over there, or if they just
oh,
with
I can't stand when that happens. I know exactly what you mean. You'll play against somebody from a different country, and I'm sure you might have seen this as well, but the person will have really high ping and they're like impossible to hit, but they'll somehow run around the corner and they're
yeah.
skipping on your screen, but on their screen they're just running up and headshotting you.
Oh, fun fact, I've got a huge folder full of those things happening in Counter-Strike. And whenever I have like 30 seconds at the end of a video and I don't have any footage for it, I just put some of that stuff in. So most of my videos sort of end with me getting absolutely destroyed in Counter-Strike in some horrible way. I just love doing that.
Since you said you like to play casual, it's actually funny. One of the ways I started playing CS:GO, or the main reason I bought CS:GO, was back in when I played Source. The only thing I didn't play competitive. I didn't even really know that was an option. I only played gun game, which they finally added in Go as arms race, and it was like an official game mode.
I
And
know
that
what
was like
those.
the main selling point for me. I was like, oh, awesome! I'm gonna finally be able to play arms race with my friends. And this is when I didn't understand the play. I was just running gun, didn't really know what I was doing. But that's actually how I bought the game and the main reason I bought it. And it's funny to think no one plays it and it's not really supported. They actually,
Yeah.
like, it could be good. I think a lot of people would like it. I think the whole, I don't know if this is still a thing, but I remember at one point they updated the game and you could like see people through, like the person in front, you could see them through walls and
I
stuff.
think they've got rid of that now. I think.
Maybe
I
I'll have to
can't
play that
remember.
again because that ruined it for me. It was really annoying to be in first and then have someone come around the corner and know where you're going to be and shoot you. Like it was like you're being
Yeah.
punished for being good.
No,
Which
you are punished. This is why I don't like the arms races, because you get to knife mode and then you just get shot over and over and over again until everyone else is on knife, and then someone gets an easy knife kill against someone who's AFK, and you think that's not fair.
oh, that is the
Oh,
worst. You'll be up like 10 kills or something like that too.
that
And
makes me rage. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. And they just catch up, and it's because you're better than them that you're in that situation. It just punishes you.
yeah.
No, no, I don't like arms races. It's
Or the
horrible.
worst is when you have the knife and someone will just come behind you and knife you and like you're like, oh, come on, really?
Never happened to me. Although I did knife someone 4 times and they didn't die. You could hear the knife sound over and over again. You know, the proper knife. You know,
Oh,
splat,
was it one of the
splat,
ones where it's like where you
splat.
knife and it makes a sound but it
Hmm.
doesn't like register at all?
Yeah,
I've had that
I'm
happen a
sharing
lot.
horrible traumatic experiences from Counter-Strike. Yeah, no, it's horrible. Like that alone would make me just stop playing that mode.
Have you been playing classic offensive still? Or you
Oh,
haven't?
that's on the servers. Well, like I said, I don't really play much Counter-Strike, but I liked it. I thought it was. I like what they're trying to do. And I think it's good to keep Valve on their toes as well.
I haven't gotten the chance to play it, but I've only heard good things about it so far. I've heard it was pretty good. What game did you like the best? So this is pretty much trying to recreate 1.6 in a way, but with some obvious tweaks. What was your favorite? Do you like Go the best? 1.6 Source?
Go's the best.
You think
I
Go is
started
the
with
best?
Source. I never really played 1.6 at all.
Oh, you started with Source?
I started with Source, just because that was the game that was out. But I would have loved it if they had done with Source what they've been doing with Go. Like, you know, a year or so after Counter-Strike Source was released, they had neglected it. They'd just given up. And I would dream about a new map being released for it, or some sort of update, even just, you know, adjusting the balance of the SMGs or something. That would be a dream come true. And Global Offensive,
Yeah.
that is so much better.
It seems like there's so much money now in Go that they're finally like. I remember when it like we were talking about earlier when they like it came out, they didn't really care about it too much. It seemed like, but as soon as skins really started to take off and the game started to make more money, it obviously makes more sense for them now to put more money into Counter Strike. It's more popular than ever now.
That's one good thing that came out of the skins then.
Yep, I don't think there's a problem with skins. Like skins are cool and stuff. I think the gambling really escalated everything, and that's why, in my opinion, skins are so much money is because you can gamble with them. I don't think if you couldn't gamble with them, I don't think they would be as valuable as they are now. They would still be valuable, but just not nearly as much.
Oh, 2 things. Firstly, I don't mean that I don't like the skins. I like the idea that it doesn't change the balance of the game. You could spend
Yeah.
£1,000 and not have any advantage over other people, unless you get the camouflage weapons. And I've had a lot of good experiences with the skin makers. I'm getting in touch with all of them to try and get little snippets of information about each gun for my future case videos.
I wonder if we're gonna get a new operation soon. A lot of people have been
Something's
asking
gonna
about it.
happen.
You think it's
Yeah,
coming
so-
soon? Well, the major
yeah.
just ended, and a lot of people are speculating that they wouldn't
This
do it
is when the
before the
updates
major.
come.
Yep.
Yeah, no, this is when the updates come after a major. They don't want to mess something up before a major. I think even Valve wouldn't do that.
Yeah. Wait. What was the main? There was a major tournament where they released the R8 like right before it.
The
Can't remember
R8
the
was in
tournament.
December, wasn't it?
Yeah. I can't remember the tournament, but I know it was where a lot of the big teams were playing, and they were
was
saying,
in
if you don't fix
Columbus,
this by the
wasn't it?
weekend, we're just gonna go back to the previous patch and we're not even gonna play with this. Because I remember in S rank or FPL at the time, they were just running around. Everyone was running around with R8s. Like it
Of course, yeah.
it was ridiculous. And now it's so nerfed that it's just useless, which is kind of unfortunate. But it's like, why use that when you could use a deagle? It's like pointless.
Although I think it's a very interesting idea. The idea of having a very powerful weapon, but just with a delay with the fire, because
Yeah.
you know, reflexes are everything. But I think you could do some pretty cool things with the R8 if you got good at it. You know, hold it down before you peek a corner and just line it all up and
Yep.
really do damage.
The main thing that was so messed up about it, I think you could hit people in like the waistband and they were just
In the
dying.
groin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was just awful.
It was great, wasn't it?
It was fun for a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. Like-
match mode.
Yeah. So with all the updates, like there's been a ton that have been just awful. Like the R8, the AUG, the CZ was another one that was pretty bad. I know they all eventually got nerfed, but I think a lot of people forget a lot of that stuff.
I think it's deliberate. I think with a new weapon, you need to encourage people to give it a chance to play test it. So I would rather, if I was to release something into Counter Strike, I would either make it ridiculously overpowered or ridiculously underpowered. And then when people moan, I'll go too far the other way, so I know that the balance is somewhere in the middle, and then I'd slowly go in to the middle.
You ever want to become like a developer or anything like that? I know you give like a bunch of recommendations to the game. Would you ever be interested in working on like a game possibly, or working on like Counter Strike in general if you got the chance? Would that be something you'd be interested in?
I'm a bit of a control freak. I like making my own games, and I am making a game. It's great. It's just after
Have you
decision.
talked about this anywhere else? Making a game?
I've got a series on Destruction Darius. It's all on 2kliksphilip, so you probably wouldn't have seen it. But and it's not. Yeah, it's like the least popular series on that channel, which is a bit upsetting. But no, I
What?
just love making games. I've been doing that longer than I've been playing Counter Strike.
Oh wow. How'd you learn how to make games? How did that all happen? Because I'm guessing you didn't go to university for that. You went to university
No,
for accounting. So how'd you learn to create games? Like how did that all start?
I got given an Atari when I was a child, and it had STOS Basic, which is the most difficult program. I never got anything done with it, but I just wanted to make my own game. I loved the idea of being in charge of all those decisions, and I still am. You know, you never change. You're still yourself. Like you were saying earlier, like with YouTube,
Yeah.
I
So
think you
what kind
can.
of game is it? Like, is it similar to Counter Strike at all, or is it completely different genre and just
I use a lot of the things I've learned from Counter Strike and the way that they've balanced the game, like the depth of the weapons in particular. But
is it
no,
a
it's a
competitive
different
shooter?
game. It's no, it's a puzzle game,
Oh, it's a
which
puzzle game.
this is it. You know, I always wanted to make a big open-ended game where you could cut down trees and stuff. And now that Steam's flooded with those sort of things, I'm like, no, that's the least. That's the game I don't want to make. So I'm making a very tightly, finely polished game. It's like Counter Strike in a lot of ways, but also completely different.
So how long have you been working on that for?
Oh, over a year, but you know, it's like a train journey here where I'll do a little bit. All in all, I've probably worked on it for about a month.
Do you ever go
So,
back and like find stuff from the beginning and you got to go, oh, I got to change that now? It's like because so much time has passed. I know that's a problem with some games. They like stay in development way too long, and then like later on they have to go back and change stuff from the beginning. Like this is just kind of a side project for you right now, I'm guessing, right? Because all the main focus is on like the YouTube channels, obviously.
I was trying to get it done in January, but that didn't happen because I ended up doing videos. But it's hard to describe. I I'm very passionate about making games. That it's something I would really like to get something on Steam Greenlight. I think that's my goal now.
I'm sure if you made a video about it, I'm sure you could definitely get it on Steam,
But I
barring the
want it
game
to be
isn't
worth it.
completely broken.
I want it to be worth it. I don't want to do early access out of principle. I just want to release a game that's finished that people can then enjoy. I don't want to make people suffer betas for
Yeah. It seems like
years.
so many games are in that stage now, just early access. Even a lot of competitive shooters are like that, which seems really weird to me.
And then the
That,
developers lose interest once they've got it on there.
yep,
They
because
never get
because they get all that
customers.
money, and it's
They
like
run away.
they don't need to pretty much pay anymore. It's like they're done. They're like, oh, I got all my money. It's whatever. Like I don't owe these people anything anymore,
I
and
think
they
I know
just
what they're
kind of
thinking.
leave.
Yeah, I honestly think that they are very inexperienced and they're like, something's missing from this game that will make it fun. I know if more people were playing it, then we can make it fun. It's a bit like when someone says that they've got a great business idea, all they need is lots of money. You know, it's always this one thing that people don't have that if they did, it would definitely be popular. And with early access, they shoot their load early.
Yeah, I definitely think a lot of the time, a lot of the
Oh, Tobias.
I think a lot of these people like they start off, they don't really expect their game to get that big, and then it just blows up, and they have all these people and all these people yelling and complaining about this and that and this and that, and then they just get overwhelmed, and then you see like that's what happened with No Man's Sky. It seemed like they never expected the game to get that big, and then they started overhyping it a bit too much,
They
and then it just got
overhyped it.
out
Yeah.
of control, and then now pretty much it's like one of the most hated games of like the past few years. A lot of people felt like they were lied to. They didn't really get what they wanted.
But they are updating it now. They've got some pretty good updates coming out for it. I haven't given
Do,
it a
do,
go because
okay, I was
yeah,
about to just ask that. Have you? I've heard from other people that it was
I've got
gonna
a
be
pre-order.
bad before it came out. Like another YouTuber I watched was talking about it, and he was like, "Yeah, he's like this is he's like the fact that they're not giving you specifics about the game or they're not really showing off much shows to me that they don't really have much there, and also that." since every planet is randomly generated, they're probably going to be all like very similar with just small minor tweaks. Because like the developers themselves haven't even seen all the planets in the game apparently, which isn't really a good sign for your game.
Well, it doesn't. The one game that did procedurally generated stuff properly was, I'm just going to let you say because you know which game it is.
Hmm.
Which game procedurally generates worlds and is fun?
Minecraft.
Yes,
Okay.
that's the one
Took
game
me a
that
minute there.
every game aspires to be like now.
That is
And
very true.
they think that if they build a big enough world with enough trees, that it will somehow be fun, and they fail on the most basic bit of gameplay, which is to have a
Yeah.
purpose.
I wonder if Minecraft came out now, would it be nearly as popular? I feel like back.
Yeah.
I remember when I got into Minecraft when it was still in beta. I believe
So
it wasn't out,
it
and
was
I had
fun
so
back
much. It
then.
was so much fun just playing regular
Yeah.
survival. This is before the game even had an ending to it. Like this is before
Yeah.
you could go to the Nether world and do all that stuff. I don't play Minecraft as much now, but I know it got a lot more complex. Like people run these super big servers with all these mini games and a bunch of
It's
other
too
stuff like
complicated
that.
for me now. Yeah, I'm well
Yeah,
behind times with Minecraft.
yeah.
When there was a big sort of flooding thing in Minecraft where everything would fill up with water, it was like a glitch. That was when I started playing.
Yeah, Minecraft is very fun. It's just you can be very creative, which is always something good.
Oh, it's great. You give yourself goals in that game because it's just so fun. You know, I'd like to load it up and just build a hut on the first night. That's
Yeah.
do that occasionally, and then build a huge cocktail, and then lose interest and start again.
Have you seen some of those things where people are like with like redstone and stuff like that? They're creating like working calculators and just crazy stuff. Like I wonder if the developers even had any like idea that people were going to be able to do that with this game. I think they just kind of released it and the community, that's a good example of the community doing something really good for the game. And I feel like Counter-Strike is good in that same way. A lot of the stuff in the game is community driven, like maps and skins and all that
You
kind
asked
of
me what
stuff.
I wanted from Counter-Strike, and I do have a few things, but it's not from the game itself. I want them to improve the editor. Right now, you can't. I don't know how much you know about mapping.
The editor to create maps,
Yes.
I know
Um,
nothing about it.
well, in short, if you make a map for Counter-Strike, you can't see what it looks like unless you render it, and that can take a while. It can take maybe half an hour for a big map,
Oh wow.
hour.
And
And
then you see a small thing and then you have to re-render it again and then I could see how that would be very very frustrating.
yeah, especially when there's no real need for it. Other games can do it perfectly fine in real time, but Source is just out of date in that way. And Valve always they always said how important it was to get that bit right and how much they relied on, you know, the content creators to push their games. And it's true. And it's really behind the times now. So I'm hoping in 2017 we're going to see Source 2. Not for better graphics or anything, but just for, well, I guess better graphics, but in the editor as well.
Yeah, I think that's going to bring a lot of people back who might have left. Source 2 is going to bring a lot of people
People left.
interest. I,
Overwatch.
yep, that's one of the main. I think that's one of the main reasons. It's going to be interesting to see how long Overwatch can last, and I think it's probably going to last a while because Blizzard's really good about that kind of stuff, like the longevity of World of Warcraft and games like Diablo 3 and Heroes of the Storm to some extent. I know a lot of people still play that game, but I think a lot of people lost interest in Counter-Strike maybe because of like the cheating issue. Once again, a lot of people blow that a little bit out of proportion, but I think Source 2, if they added that or added like 128 tick, I feel like a lot of people would be interested. If they just do something big.
Not 128 tick. Oh.
Uh, not a
Oh.
fan.
Oh, it's just people seem to think a bigger number in that way is going to make it better. It's already. Do you know how much changes in 1/64th of a second? And that, you know, smoothly moving between those as it is. The real problem is just lag and lag compensation and other things. They're much bigger problems than tick. I think 64 tick is fine. I really do. I'm going to stand by that. 64 tick is
Unpopular
fine.
opinion there. A lot of people.
Good. Brilliant.
I know a lot of people with like lower end computers don't want 128 tick because they're afraid they're not going to be able to run the game better. But do you know how true that is? Like I've never gotten a definitive answer on that. It seems to be split. People say, "Oh, the tick won't really have much of an effect if you have a lower end computer," and then some other people say, "Oh, if they do it, then the game won't be able to run nearly as well for some people."
It's
And
more intensive on the servers
okay,
that host it, but that's not a problem
not
for
on. So,
players.
yeah, that's what. Okay, that's what I thought. So that is a myth I think that's been just going around.
What it does do, though, it makes demos double the size because demos record every tick, and demos are something that need updating as well. Because I do a lot
Definitely.
of flybys, and it's I can do it. You know, I've got so much experience with doing demo flybys. I do it with almost every video. It used to be a luxury a couple of years ago. It's something that my videos have really improved upon just how polished they look with these flybys. But going through demos is a nightmare. You click back and it sort of has to load several minutes occasionally. It's particularly bad on 128 tick servers. I hope they change that.
All right, man. So we've been going for over an hour here.
I know, time flies.
Yeah, definitely been great. So got anything you want to say before you go?
Subscribe to me.
Where can they find you at?
Oh, that's right. YouTube. Everywhere. I'm everywhere. No, thank you very much for the interview.
Thanks very much for coming on, man. I thought this went really well.
I thought you were going to interrogate me about things, or I don't know.
I wanted to ask you about one thing, but I'm not sure if you wanted to answer it or bring it up, and I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. And someone asked me to ask you. Someone asked me to ask you. Do you want me to?
Of course.
You mind if I bring it up?
Sure.
The whole Fart Master channel. There's been conspiracy theories. There's been Reddit posts. There's been a lot of things. What do you have to say? Anything?
What a great guy. What a legend. World record holder.
Legend.
He's a legend.
You think those videos are those videos real? You think they actually?
I think
edited in, or
I like to believe.
A
little bit of magic in the world. it brings a smile to my face every month when he releases them. It used to be every day. He was really dedicated.
Man, what happened? I wonder what happened to that guy. He lost.
Oh, I don't know.
I was a big fan. I'm subscribed. I'm a big fan. But yeah, then thanks for definitely coming on. This has been awesome. This has once again been Casual Conversations. If you want to support the show, the Patreon's down in the link down below. But thanks once again for 3kliksphilip for coming on, and bye.
Thank you very much. Bye. Bye. Have fun. Bye. Bye. You stopped.